All right, you guys, welcome. Finna throw something in the air real quick. I hope y'all's day is going just as you planned. And hopefully what you planned or what you created was exactly what you wanted, unless there was cognitive distortions in the way. I'll get to that later. Throwing something in the air. Some sage and citrus. Some mugwort and sage. Thank you, sage, you're cleaning the air. Clean y'all up real quick. Just take a moment, man. I'm telling you, something about this Indian flute music. I love it. It's so meditative, for sure. But I ain't gonna keep you on here long, so I had an experience yesterday, and the experience was with my sister. And she was telling me her story in regards to what was currently happening in her reality, and what has also continued to happen. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and just read my insert from my journal. Let me quit. I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Jeid, Jeid the Jedi. All right. First of all, I want to give gratitude, first of all, because that's first and foremost. And I did that this morning, because I wake up kind of early. This particular AM, I slept in a bit. And the reasoning is because I got a phone call from my sister at 12:03 in the morning, around that time. And she wanted me to tell her story. So immediately after she gets done telling the story, I lay in the bed and I begin to weep. And I weep and I wept because being where I am and being able to see things from an aerial view and seeing the cycles and the unresolved trauma, and it's like, dang, I can't even really do nothing because it's your journey. This is what you are bringing into your reality. Because as soon as I start talking my shit, it gets looked at like, what you talking about? It's because it's not ready to be received, or it will not be received. So let me just get right to it. Then I'll break some things down. So this is what came up through the DNA with my DNA. So anyways, while I was tearing up and weeping in regards to that, I was like, the deeper meaning of life, and that's like, for me, is unconditional love. Unconditional love, not conditional love, like sometimey love, just unconditional love. I used to call it love in spite of, So as I began to continue to think and just go in and process what I had just heard, this is what came up through the DNA. So I'll read it. I was awakened just after midnight with a phone call from my sister. I'm glad I answered. The conversation wasn't what I expected. Sis, did I wake you? I just have the worst luck. You will never believe. Okay, you will never believe what happened to me today. My first thoughts were either she got fired from her job at the bank or she lost both jobs. That's in another segment. She proceeded to tell me, and then I call this a Netflix original story because I'm literally sitting back and observing her story about my stepfather's and mother's pit bull that almost killed her. This is real. This is real life, y'all. All in her story are blips and memories of a rerun on a different, higher evolved version of the original story. The original story begins at inception into this 3D plane. The memories get uploaded to your DNA, encrypted, not clear. All of your coding is there, but you need certain traumas to unlock the encryption. She said, you will never believe what happened to me today. First question I ask is, why wouldn't I believe it? Then I'll follow up with, the event is being created because of your beliefs. How are beliefs formed? Through the sensories of another's belief system, their 5 senses, right? The DNA begins to transform as soon as trauma takes place. Test, T-E-S-T, your belief system. It depends on the DNA structure. How through past life trauma did our ancestors handle this particular trauma? What has been downloaded into her DNA, our DNA, your DNA from our ancestors? In this case, this current case right now, how strong was our ancestors' belief system, right? If it was weak, if your belief system's weak, then that belief system will get the test, right? I'll break this down even more. You will keep getting tested in the area of belief until you shift the vibration of your own internal belief system and not rely on the original story to evolve your belief system. I'll stop right there. That was a lot, right? That was a lot. But what I'm saying here and what came up through the DNA as I asked the proper questions, because when you ask a question, the question will get answered, right? So it's like, over time, there's these cycles, these cyclical cycles that, we see ourselves go through. We're playing out our ancestors' lives through the DNA, right? And it is up to us to check in with our internal belief systems, right? Which is what we believe first, right? And compare it to the original story, the original belief system that was coming up, that has been rebirthed through generation and generation, to check on that, to see if it checks with you. If it doesn't check right with your belief system, why follow the original belief system, right? Which is what has been encoded through the DNA. So I said this. So yes, I believe everything that my sister told me. I believe that her belief system is being shaken up. I believe that she is being tested on what she believes, not the beliefs of others to whom's beliefs almost killed her. I called mom to let her know about the dog being out. She told me to go into the house and put the dog back in the cage. I'm scared, Mom. I don't want to do it. My mom says, girl, you know, which is my mother's beliefs, that dog is not going to hurt you. He knows you. He loves you. All the while, my mother is also scared of her own dog. And then I went on to some other stuff, like why cage a bull terrier in an apartment, no room, no space, crowded, no freedom to roam, mistreated, threatened, physically abused, mentally abused, scared, feeling pulled in all directions, confused, has no idea who to trust, vicious 1 minute, acts as if nothing happens the next. It's almost as if this animal has taken on its owner's Gemini traits, untamed, nowhere home training, playing out the rerun of the unresolved trauma. Their belief systems have been distorted, causing disillusioned beliefs. You are scared of the dog, yet you tell someone who is also scared of the dog to trust your word. Because my sister's belief system was weak, my mother's original belief system overrode hers, right? So my sister went. She did as she went against her internal belief system, her intuition, whatever you want to call it, the voice. She went against her internal belief system and dialed back into the original belief system that my mother had and said, in hers, it's all distorted. Everything's distorted because there's been unresolved trauma still there that has not been faced. So yet my sister still went against and ignored her own internal belief system and literally almost got killed by my mom and stepfather's pit bull. Luckily that the neighbors were there to drag my sister inside of their home and protected her. Because what had happened was the dog lunged. She immediately got scared, turned around to run. The dog, big, knocked her to the ground. She hit her knee and twisted her ankle, which is what we now think is fractured. On the ground, helpless, with this untamed animal that just is like a reflection of the fucking trauma. The fucking trauma, the unresolved trauma that runs rampant not only in my family, but in everybody else's family. Caged dog, caged mind, caged animal. No freedom. Don't know who to trust. And mind you, my sister's been around this dog since they've had it. Yet it still decided to lunge and attack her. So because she decided to go against her own internal belief systems and follow suit with the original belief system, that is what happened. And then she begins to look outside of herself and begin to say the I don't know why, but still in the same sentences, acknowledging herself, but not really computing it. I never should have went up there anyway. I know. And because we so much feel as if that, or trusting authorities, or trusting somebody that's, y'all eat like it's like your parents, or trusting, people's or persons of authorities without questioning your own internal belief system and going along with that. It literally, you feel as if that superiority, that authority has jurisdiction over you. So it overrides yours. And then there you are stuck with more trauma more problems, more resentment because you went against your own internal belief system. And I said this too. Let me go back to what I was saying. Because my sister's belief system was weak, my mother's original belief system overrode her, causing more trauma in the same area of beliefs. Trusting the authority's belief system because you think that they have authority over you. Not checking in, ignoring your internal belief system, and seeing if your belief systems truly support another's will get you in some deep shit or even killed. Which could lead to more unresolved trauma, right? So some questions to ask yourself a lot of times when you're making, going in and making decisions, and you are testing or you are going into your internal belief system, right? And you are checking in and seeing and testing that belief system with your family, your friends, your spouse, your children's belief systems. You got to do those things. You got to see if that sits right with you. If it doesn't sit right with you, then why go along with somebody else's belief systems? Why go along with your family's belief systems and continue the cycle and continue the trauma, and prolong your growth, prolong your ascension, Why would you not question it? So some things that I wrote down here was, what are your family's belief systems? It's going to start there with families because the belief system begins there, right? And then from there, you begin and build relationships with other people. But it has to come back to the original belief system, which is your family's belief system, right? So what are your family's belief systems, right? What are your belief systems? And are they a vibrational match, right? Are they a vibrational match? I said the deeper meaning of life. I'm gonna go back to that, and that's what I said. The deeper meaning of life for me is to elevate, alchemize, transmute my belief system, right? My belief systems into my own knowing systems, okay? Through awareness, acknowledgement, observation, and choice. That's how the AAOC. You got to check in with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to check in. You got to make sure that, what it is that you are feeling inside, and follow that internal belief system, right? Right? This DNA, like I said, we come here. This is just what I wrote down. It's just like coming here with a blank slate, but also not realizing that you're carrying on with you through that DNA, those belief systems, whether it be about money, whether it be about relationships, whether it be about, your belief systems in regards to like religion, everything, even your system that you was born into, your quote unquote color system. There's systems all over the place. But it's your birthright to follow your own internal belief systems when it comes to certain things. If your parents' belief systems about money was poor, but you feel something completely different about it, then you rock with your belief system because you see and you know better. Rock with your own. And that's what it comes down to, is at the end of the day, is coming into your own system, belief systems, and those are always leading you to righteousness and justice, because the first thought always is to do the right thing. And then there comes the persuasion, or then there comes the, well, my daddy always did it, so I'm going to do it, or my mama always did it, so I'm going to do it. I saw my grandmother do it, so that's just what it is. And now it's not just what it is. You can't just rock with that's just what it is. It don't make sense to rock with that is just what it is, because you are your own being. You are your own soul. Carrying on the DNA, carrying on all of these things with you. You are your ancestors. So when your tests come, right? We talked about tests. When your belief systems are being tested, you know, you will know, because it comes back around to you. If you haven't moved forward with it, it's gonna come back around full circle. It'll come back around. And then evolve. As we evolve too, don't think that it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be an evolved version of itself in a different person. It could be in a different person, a different time, a different day, what have you. It's gonna show up completely different, but it's all gonna be wrapped in the same fucking wrapping paper. To say, you gonna open it? You gonna go with your internal belief system? You gonna open this shit, or you just gonna just let it sit, slide, and wait till next year to open it, and just continue going on this way, or just pass it off like, oh, that gift ain't even that big. Like, it probably ain't even nothing in there. Whoop. The smallest of gifts are the mightiest of ones. So yeah, that was, you know, that was really a moment for me. Like, when we had our conversation on the phone, like, I went through a lot of different emotions, and even to the point of, you know, just like, you know, actually being upset and allowing myself to be upset and express. But then also coming back and reeling it back, like, okay, let me allow these emotions to pass through me, and let me go back into my internal belief systems. And my internal belief systems is this: at the end of the day, like, in each individual person, you have a choice of where you want to go. Nobody's holding you up from that. Okay, you have a choice, you know, to do your own research to find out what is true for you. Let me put it that way, okay? And you're always going to be given signs and people and mentors and you know, just people in general throughout your entire existence to lead and guide you. And it's up to you to be observant of that, right? It's up to you to be observant of it. So I checked back in with my internal belief systems, and I was like, she's my mother. Although these things are of human experiences that we have had together as mother and daughter, it doesn't sway the fact of what is the facts, right? What is the facts about the relationship? It's my mother. I don't have to like anything that she does. I don't have to like what she says. But I also do not have to react to every little thing that happens, because you can't teach an old dog new tricks, especially if you already know what they're doing. You already know how they act. You already know how to behave. So it's the acceptance of, although your heart is broken and pours out sometimes, and you just want to shake them. You want to shake them. But you got to let people be where they're at, because they're also catalysts for people like us. They are our catalysts. If it wasn't for them, this being of greatness would not be birthed, right? It wouldn't be birthed. So they too have their reasonings of being here. So that's my internal belief system. I'm gonna love in spite of. The facts are is I love you unconditionally. It's not conditional love. It's not conditional. So yeah, I can love from a distance as well. I do not have to put myself in that atmosphere. I can break free from my environment and what I see, because my environment would hold me back. But I was a runner, right? So I'd always been able to, even in my running, to be able to be stable and think and be able to have my own sense of thinking. Yes, there were cognitive distortions. Yes, I had to break free and break away from a lot of generational belief systems that I had grown up in, and had to really just grab the machete and start cutting cords. Facts. Just this ain't me. I don't act like this. This is not me. It don't sit well. I don't treat people this way. I don't put people down this way, because it wasn't checking in with my internal belief system. So I was like, I trust me. I trust me. I trust my word, you know? I trust what I got to say, right? But at the end of the day, though, for me, I can't speak for nobody else, is I still have that unconditional love. I am not the judge of the way that she had acted or had in that situation. I'm not being the judge. I'm taking this experience that I had with my sister and expanding upon it and seeing where like other folks' belief systems, my belief systems, how our belief systems get entangled in such a strong and our ancestral DNAs and our ancestors' belief systems have such a strong hold on us that we become mute from the voice. The throat chakra begins to close. We don't speak up. We don't say anything. You know, we cower back and just let it keep happening. And all the while you are smiling on the outside, but your inner darkness is screaming because you have not given her the opportunity to speak up, to speak out, and say, out of righteousness and justice and truth, what it is. What's the truth? The truth also hurts as well. It doesn't matter how you try to wrap it up. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna hurt. So yeah, check into your internal belief systems. Compare it to your family's belief systems. And once you have that comparison and you say, no, I don't rock with that, I don't rock with that, I don't rock with that, the more of the DNA within you that you are liberating. Not only are you liberating yourself, you're liberating your ancestors, the DNA is being reconstructed. You know what I'm saying? As I do this, the energy's coming out. We need to come out. So, as you begin to compare your belief systems and with your family's belief systems, and you just see what you're rocking with and what you're not, like I said, you have the opportunity to begin to clean up the DNA, clean up the muck, because within you, your molecular being is evolving and it's changing. The DNA is evolving and changing. So when you do decide to procreate, you know, they're being procreated in this new system, and the system that you have created, which is full of unconditional love. Period. That's all I'm gonna say. It's full of unconditional love, and to experience that, and to have that as I experience unconditional love every day. I'm not lying about that, and I really do. It touches me. Because every day I'm like, one of my mantras is, I am unconditional love. And that's facts. That doesn't mean you're gonna run all over me. That doesn't mean that you get a pass. That doesn't mean that I'm weak. That means that I am emotionally intelligent enough to understand that you are going through your own battles, and that what you say to me has no effect on me. I don't have to react. I don't need to react because I understand you. You know what I'm saying? I understand you, the inner being. I understand, okay, there's a struggle, there's a fight going on. This is not my battle, it has nothing to do with me. I'm just the closest thing to you. I can have compassion. I can look at outside of myself and look at things as a whole and just be like, it's okay. It's okay. You just need somebody to show you, but you have to allow yourself to open up to be shown. You know what I'm saying? To be shown. You have to be vulnerable enough to allow these things to come through for you, to be able to change you. We all need somebody or someone to help and to lead and to guide us on these journeys, you know? So, yeah, like, that was my upload. I was going to call it upload, but that was what came through. I would say that is what came through the DNA. I'm going to call it that. That's what came through the DNA. Because I sat with self first, and this question was asked a while back too, in regards to, like, because I believe in incarnation, it doesn't mean that you do. My Akashic records have been open. I have lived many lives, okay? And my question that I had asked a while back was, if I had lived many lives, does the DNA still remain the same? Are we still in the same DNA strand? Do we still, although we're birthed different peoples, different cultures, different different ethnicities, all these things, a mother, father, daughter, son, we've done it all. So I'm like, is the DNA still the same? Right? And I'm like, hell yeah, it's still the same, right? It's gotta be, because even in those lives, we are one another, just playing in different roles and different positions, right? So it's still the same. It's just what it is right now, what we're coming to right now. I don't know. I could be schooled on that too, but that's just my beliefs, because it was one of those, when I asked that question, that's why, when I asked that question and just was going through that process, that's how I was like, I'm going to come up with this one. When we went through that experience, I was like, damn, the DNA. So it came through the DNA. That's what I say. A lot of folks are saying uploads, downloads, and all that stuff, but it came through the DNA. The question that was asked came back through the DNA. So there's some things too, like in my past lives, like there's resolved. I went through so much as far as the forgiveness piece and going through my internal belief systems and just saying this is what it is for me, in regards to what everybody else is believing. And I did so much, what I would call, I did so much. Why do we say that? That's just like a blip it. It's almost like, yeah, you did that. That's what you did that much, really. You did do so much, but that's the human experience. It's like, we always like that. We did so much. I sacrificed so much. I lived like this. So I'm like, it was just there's no time. Time is not linear. So it's like, how much did you really do? Right? How much did you really do? So what I'm saying is I've put in some work when it comes to, working on my DNA and reconstructing it and taking care of myself, as if certain ancestors may have not. I'm taking care of myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm eating healthy. I'm an 80-20, 80% vegan, 20% vegetarian. So I like balance as well. I think too much of anything is not, quote unquote, is not the best. Just kind of staying on one even kilter. I'm the person, I like to mix it up. It's period point blank. I might eat some shrimp one day and then mix it up and be vegan completely for 2 months, but I like to be able to keep that ebb and flow within just the the vegetables and all the good stuff. I like to ebb and flow with all of it that's good for you. So whatever's good for you and whatever you feel is good for you, fine, that's what it is. But this is my road, and this is what I decided to go on. So yeah, I forgot this is what happens. It's not, I went off on a tangent and then I gotta reel myself back in, because I was going off topic, but yeah, I wanted to stay on topic. But at the end of the day, it's not coming back right now, so I'm not gonna sit here and just look and be like, I don't know. If it comes back while I'm talking, that's fine. But yeah, we're talking about belief system and this experience that I had with my sister and the DNA. That's what we were talking about, the DNA. And I was asking a question in regards to the DNA, is like, when we incarnate, is the DNA still the same? Because we incarnate in different cultures, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So how, and then from that question, boom, this came up. And that's how, instead of like this information came up through the DNA. So it's literally like the belief systems, like my belief systems are different than my family's belief systems, of course, although I came through the same DNA. It's being reconstructed and just redone, period. And I was talking about eating healthy. So I eat healthy, yeah. So I'm taking care of my body. So if ancestors back then, like they're, got diabetes, or like their mental game was off, or, I'm coming back through and honoring my body. I'm honoring what I put in it. I'm making sure that my health is regulated, so I'm doing, staying in motion and not sedentary. So I'm doing already reconstructing the DNA by just doing things that, they would have maybe have seen as just not capable of doing it, not doing it, just because of their own belief systems and what they lived through that specific time, if you all follow me, which I know you are. So we're at 35, so I'm gonna end it right here, but yeah, check in with your internal belief systems first before you decide to not follow it, and just go through your cycle, go through your original DNA, and just keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Albert Einstein. Beating a dead horse, you know what I'm saying? And you're wondering why. Because you're not being aware, and you're wondering why the same shit keeps happening. And I'm like, it's right there. Your belief system, because you believe what you believe to be true, your belief system has told you that I have to listen to something greater outside myself, aka God. The God that is out there is also within you, aka your parents. Your parents gave birth to you, but you have your own. As you get to a certain age, you have your own belief systems that you go through, believing, again, authority figures outside of yourself, and not just even questioning anything and just going along with it. That can leave you killed, man. That can leave you set up and killed by going with somebody else's going with the crowd, or going with other people's belief systems, man. It was like living proof right here. Like going against, she went against it, almost died. I mean, it's not funny, but can you imagine? I look at death differently, but I would have to go back to the experience and just this knowledge that she gave, and just been like, damn, had anything had happened to her and I had not got this story, it would have been like, what the hell happened? But having the privilege to be on the phone with her and her telling me this, and me looking outside myself and just looking at the whole situation as a whole, I'm like, damn, you're believing what you believe to be true, because you know it's true inside of you, but it's not that belief. Your belief system is not strong enough to override that, because why? You think something, if you do this, you're defiant, you're being bad, you're going against, and all these things, the fucking shit just keep going. Yeah. Anyways, I am going to I'm gonna cut this off. But yeah, what is your belief systems? Check in every once in a while to make sure that you are following that, which is here. Get out of here sometimes. Come into this space and begin to align them both, so that the five senses, which you have out here, and then what you feel in here, are a vibrational match. So that's just like, oh, okay, everything. And that changing your environment is everything too. If your environment is not the best, and you've been in the same environment for years, and you've been saying, I want to leave, I want to move, I want to leave, I want to move, I want something different, I want something new, and you're putting it out there, and there's opportunities that come, but yet you still riding on the original belief system, and you're not going nowhere, because your belief system is weak. You need to strengthen it. Put your I ams in there, some affirmations around the house, begin to read, get into some self-development work, what have you. Find some folks on YouTube, whatever you gotta do. Be around, surround yourself with people that are, that can expand your mind, expand your consciousness, and just ask questions, period. All right, y'all, I'm Jeid the Jedi. I'm about to get up off of here, man. I'm hungry, so I'm about to make me a grand old salad, a nice salad. So if you have any questions, drop them. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed. Peace.